Liard, and she has nearly 2.5 million TikTok followers and more than 370,000 on Instagram who can't stop watching her show us how it's done to fold clothes.
How long has she been around, do they say?
I don't know.
Right. I watched a video of a woman who is, and this is her job, and she's young, and her husband, I don't know if he works now, but at that time wasn't working because whatever she was doing was paying the bills. And she's a mother, and she would sit there and just talking to the camera as she was doing things like folding the laundry. She wasn't even like folding it that great. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like, oh, everything's a perfect fold and nothing's wrinkled or whatever. And she was attractive. It's not like she was
topless
or mega hot, but she was an attractive-ish woman.
Right, and that's all it took.
And that's all it took. And I don't understand how things like that take off.
Well, think of all the ones that do not as well.
No, you're right.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have time to fold like this lady does. It's great, but I don't have time for it.
You'd want to die.
I literally don't have time. She's folding socks. It's amazing. It would probably save so much space, but I don't have
50
time
seconds.
anymore.
No, you roll them socks into a ball.
You just put them in a big bucket.
To your point is, like, I wonder, because some of them that I follow, I'm like, are they making enough money that this is their career? Like, there's one specific girl that I follow, and her husband is a photographer, so all of her pictures are like awesome that she posts because her husband takes them, but he's a photographer, like, and so he's taking her pictures, she's posting them, and that seems to be the only job the two of them have.
Kathy,
and
yes.
she's a fashion influencer. All she does is, her last picture was a picture of her, and that she paid $7 for a shirt, and she posted that, and she posted pictures of this house that they redid. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. She did this huge pool in the back. The house is huge. And I'm like, is it just from influencing and him being a photographer?
Well, there's a special on a documentary, I should say. I think it's on Hulu, and it's about the OnlyFans phenomenon and the kind of money that they can make. And we're talking people who are doing even just like sort of cheesecake stuff, or even or just general stuff. The amount of money that you can make is pretty substantial. Now, it's clear that a lot of these TikTok people, yes, they can make that their career. How long does that last? I don't know.
Yeah, and how many of them out of those that try actually
succeed?
Yeah, not as many as you would think. I would imagine,
because you're seeing a lot, but you're also realizing that also relates to a tremendous additional group who are absolutely
I know that
languishing in anonymity.
Yeah, of course, it's not going to happen for everybody, but I'm just thinking of this one girl that, how is that her career, and is that the only way she's making money?
Very well could be.
Yeah, Kath, my wife follows a whole bunch of people that take care of their homes, right? And it can be people who fold or whatever, but then she's also...
I'm a folder.
She also has found these women who are like hockey wives, who have these amazing homes, and their whole thing is, how to decorate these homes. And
hockey wife?
Hockey wives, yeah.
Like professional hockey
like
players'
the NHL
wives.
player. Well, yeah, but their husbands are making money.
I know, and it's almost like no fair, because it's like, well, we don't have this disposable income that you have to make this room look the way you make it look.
Well, it's cribs. I mean, it's looking the same as people.
Yeah.
But listen, so I wasn't going to get this, but I'll do this now because it ties into what we're talking about. Then BuzzFeed had an article titled "People Who Are Friends with Influencers Are Revealing What Their Lives Are Really Like."
Okay, so we've asked the question: how much of your day is constantly being sucked away from you because you're posting content?
So these are quotes from people who have friends that do this. So I'll just read them to you. So here's one that says, she hasn't come to anything I've invited her to in 5 years because she only goes to events that further her business. Regularly says things like, we're all using each other for something. And she still reaches out to me multiple times a year and claims I'm one of her best friends, but it sure doesn't feel like it. I've told her as much, but she just says, this is my life now. My business comes first. And if you can't accept that, then I guess you're not a real friend. Here's another one. Says, it's annoying AF. It's annoying as F. One of my buddies is constantly filming everything, and posting it. It dominates everything he does and has severely impacted his personal relationships. He can't keep a girlfriend, and it's clearly related to this obsession of his. After pretty much kicking him out of my life because I don't want to be continually posted online, we've come to the understanding that when he's about to take a pic or video, he hands me the phone so I'm not in the shot, and it works out okay for me. There's another one that says, I dated one. Not super popular, but it followers in the 100,000 range last time we spoke. I remember a lot of getting ignored and only receiving nice gifts and acts of kindness when they could post about it. Asking me to go to nice places they didn't drive, only to leave me on a bench somewhere while they took pictures. Huge strain on the relationship, especially when they started to get bigger and there was more demand for content.
It's really sad. I mean, but it's this phenomenon that's happened over the last 15 years or so where idle time is now you can monetize it, right?
Right, yeah.
So, and hobbies and knitting and whatever else. You can post all of these things. Casey, you know, the hockey wives, or Kathy, the folding person, or whatever. Those things, because you can put them on Instagram or TikTok or whatever and make money off of them. That starts to become, for some people, this dominating force of, I should monetize everything. And in the
hopes that something catches.
Well, and it robs you of the ability to just enjoy something, separate yourself from your phone and what you're putting on Instagram and what your actual life is versus what you can make money off of.
Yeah, so
it's a really weird conundrum because
you're almost living in a matrix-like deal because you're people who are presupposed to narcissism are going to, and we all have a level of that in us regardless. But I mean, you're just consumed. You never let them. It's like the people who, when they go on vacation, are never actually looking at what they're seeing. They're always looking at it through the camera.
And some success begets more. So you start getting followers, and you start realizing, hey, I'm making a little bit of money off of this, or people are paying attention, and it starts to overtake your thinking in a way that can be really dangerous.
Yeah. Here's one. It says, awful. One of my best friends fell real hard in Instagram, and for a few years it was tolerable and understandable, albeit annoying and strange. Everything needed to be documented in specific ways. So lots and lots of photos, even if it took away from the moment. But the strange part was how, when she'd share things, the captions always told a slightly different story than what actually happened. Like just off enough for me and my other friend to say, that has a weird quality to it.
Well, like Marissa, thankfully, will chronicle a lot of the stuff and social media wise, make sure that we have our presence is pretty robust. I don't think in that way of this should be caught, for social media. It's just not everything that we're going to do that I think is content based is going to siphon right through to the show. Yeah,
I tend to, like, as the show is going on, let the show do all the show stuff, right?
Show.
My perspective on whatever we're doing, I guess comes second to whatever the show's doing, right?
Right.
But when the show's over, like, I really do. Sometimes I sit there and think, like, man, I really need to post something, but I don't have anything to post.
Do you say stuff for your OnlyFans site, or do you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything topless and bottomless is OnlyFans.
All right.
Everything clothed is not.
That makes sense.
No, but like, listen,
why do you feel the need that you have to post?
I don't, because I have it, and.
Why do you climb Everest?
Well, because it's there.
Exactly.
Right, Steve?
Do you look do you look at your numbers as far as how many people are following you?
Not often.
Okay.
Not often, but I'm just teetering around 37,000. But
Here's your 37,254. 256, 257.
But I don't post if I don't have any. Like, I don't go through my photos and go, and just, let me post that.
Yeah.
But if something is happening, I'm like, maybe I can capture that and post that.
Yeah, and Casey, I think some of that comes from not everybody who follows you follows the show.
Right.
So if you do something funny on the show that day that we share from the show's account, you could follow that with your you could share that with your followers. But I also wanted to share that, like, I've also been this person my entire life. Like, I was the person sneaking a camera into concerts when, like, my friends were smoking weed in, and like, I was the person with photo albums and boxes of photos.
That was me too, though. And I used to make videos all the time. I was constantly the guy with the video camera, but now I have a different take on it.
True.
Yeah.
True, but I guess I continue.
Now it's just a
and now there's just a different outlet, and Nick is saying that it's a new phenomenon to share these things or to use idle time, but it probably didn't stick with you guys, but it stuck with me so hard. We had Gene Simmons on, and he was like, there are 20 usable hours in a day. Like, if you're just doing your one job and then wasting the rest of the time
10 hours
of the day,
for feeding the chickens.
You only sleep 4 hours a night?
Maybe he said like 18 or 19. I was just making it
Marissa,
dramatic.
probably.
Yeah,
Listen, this goes back to. I'm sure during caveman times there was a guy like Og would always run away. Let me cave carve this,
Right.
But
Let me sure I got this.
It's idle time for people like us. These people that are making money off of it, it's not idle time.
It's
That's
their
job.
profession.
It's their
It's their
profession.
job, yes.
Like, I have a friend who, I think I told you guys this before, but I will specifically tell her, I'm coming over. Don't post anything, because she will post and then I won't see her. I'll be at her house and I'll be sitting next to her, but she's just on the phone checking the comments, replying back. Oh, look at this person. This person's an idiot. I can't believe they said that. Oh, look who liked my photo. Like, constantly. And I've gone over there and spent the entire day with the kids because she was on her phone because she had posted a picture right before I got there.
It's wasted time because why? When do you get time to play with your action figures?
Yeah.
At home, Steve, we can monetize you playing with your action figures. That's the thing. No, and the other part of it is it's really easy for some people. I know we always talk about how much a pain in the butt it is to write a caption or pick the right photo, but for some people, it just comes so naturally and so easy. And God
they're the
bless
ones
those people.
that can do it. I'm not one of them.
And they're the people you're talking about right now because they're a pain in the ass to be around.
Okay. Yeah.
Well,
It's just not. It's not my thing. I don't think that way. I'll try to. If I have a photo I want to post, and I try to think of a caption. I'm like, that's not clever enough. I need to blah 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 this and that, and then I just give up on it, and I post something generic.
For the last month, I've had a mirror on the bathroom floor, and every time I get in the shower, I take a picture. I'm like, do I post this today?
Right.
Is today the day?
Am I being narcissistic and thinking people want to see this?
Here's a few more quotes. It says, friends with a high-profile athlete is pretty popular on Insta. He is always on the phone, never lives in the moment. If we're doing anything fun, well, it basically didn't happen unless the world knows about it. It's just annoying. I can't imagine living for the approval of satisfaction of others. Another one says, I know a wannabe influencer. She will reply to her own post from her husband's account praising herself. Then she'll reply to those posts as herself thanking him. It's hilarious. Like Inception for Facebook.
I do but I have separate accounts, and I'll like my post from the other account.
What?
Yeah.
You have like an anonymous account?
No, not anonymous.
Okay.
Like my show on Ben FM, her story. So like if I post something from Kathy Romano 11, I'll have her story like it. I don't know, because I'll scroll through on her story to
hold on,
and so it pops up. So of course I'm not gonna skip over it. It's mine.
If you follow the Flyers, you will see that the first like on every Flyers account is the Phantoms.
Okay.
So whoever does that account probably does the Phantoms. So
I don't look that deep into it.
So there's a book I've mentioned before called Slanted. It talks about how everything is an orchestrated narrative a lot of times in media. The companies that pay people to appear as regular grassroots people commenting on things, there is such a manipulation for products and responses and movies and how all this stuff gets, that's this regular guy just happens to like this. And a lot of times they're on a payroll to create that impression. So your friend orchestrating the apparent like of her own site is that's repeated millions of times.
Well, and she replies to all of the comments because, and maybe Marissa knows this, but that it does something with the algorithm or it'll pop up in more people's feed or something like that. So she's constantly replying to the posts.
Yeah, all the interactions that you have on your feed help your own algorithm and make your posts better. There's a new thing, because Instagram's changing it. You know that little like square looking thing on the side that you actually are saving buttons?
Right.
That's the hot ticket item now. So you want people to save your thing and share it onto their story.
Do you approve of the new? Because they just did a refurb on Instagram. Do you like the new setup?
How long ago? I haven't noticed.
I just noticed it yesterday.
There's a couple little things that are different
are now on the front, on the top of the page where they were on the bottom before.
Yeah, they're just trying to make it. The more interactive you are, the more because they want to see that you are spending the time to do it, and that's why your friends are doing that because it takes the time to make yourself successful.
Yeah, they want engagements, they want interactions. You got to watch The Social Dilemma. It explains it all.
Wouldn't it be better if you had no friends? You could spend so much more time posting.
Totally.
There's a new thing that's been popping up in my direct messages, and I don't know. There's got to be something behind it, but it's a legit account. and then maybe like a spam account or something, and so they put you on a group, and that when they message you, you get the response from the legit company as if you'd messaged them or something.
Delete those right away.
But what is it? Why?
I don't know
You're
what it is.
You're going to get a bunch of seed from China.
It's one of those things, Kathy, where it's not worth even opening. Just as soon as you see something like that, just hit delete. Don't even accept them.
I'm going to go to Vin on the phones. Yo, Vin, you're on. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, man. What's your story?
So not related to like the influencers thing. I want to say a few years back, I had a buddy that was like kind of like catching the tail end of the YouTube boom thing, like the Let's Players and like the video game stuff on YouTube. And it got so bad with him trying to make content for YouTube. I barely saw him, and I had to like force myself to come up with ideas to try to hang out with him so like we could even do anything.
So you had to create content for him so that you had any shot of hanging out as a friend.
Yeah, I mean it was pretty sad because like we would hang out all the time prior to this, and then like he kind of got a little bit of popularity, a little bit of traction, and I overheard you guys talking about how like people will always be on like social media and stuff, and like so he was like always on Twitter and trying to tweet people and just kind of get noticed. And yeah, like at a certain point, like we would hang out, we worked together, we would like be in the office together, but he would be so focused on what's happening on Twitter.
Jeez.
Like he would like try to like tell me about it, but I wasn't on Twitter at the time, and I was like, dude, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Didn't you know the building was on fire?
Where's your relationship now with him?
Well, he got to a point where he was actually able to go out to like California and work for like a company out there that Twitch. I don't know if you guys know.
Yeah, Twitch is huge.
Yeah, he worked for them for a bit, and we lost touch. And unfortunately, him and I are, we don't really talk anymore. So
that sucks.
Sorry to hear that, man.
Friendship.
Yeah. All right, thanks, bud. I saw when I was starting to make the drum cover videos that I do, I watched a couple. There's videos on how to make great videos, like tons of them.
Oh, yeah. And
so I was watching one, and a guy explained, not necessarily being an influencer, but being a YouTuber. He's like, listen, if you really want to consider this, he said, it's kind of a lonely life, just to let you know. You might be doing fun and exciting things, or it seems that way, but you're going to spend a lot of time by yourself.
Yes.
Editing, preparing, doing all these things. And it looks on the surface like easy work, but it is time consuming, as being this influencer person. While they're out doing these, these glamorous looking shots and so on, there's a lot of time filled up making sure that they get just the right things or pretending to be this and that.
So the perception that you can trade off and say, okay, well, I'm going to take what I would do normally during a regular business day, and I'll just spend 8 hours doing it doesn't play like that.
Right.
Yeah, because your life becomes a constant content source.
Yeah, I sat in the parking lot of Imperial Pizza all by myself a couple of Fridays ago, just eating a pizza all by myself, just so I could post some pictures of the pizza place, because I go to pizza places every Friday during Lent now, and that's been
your thing.
Saddest thing I've ever heard.
You know what, Steve? It was a little pathetic, and at one
there
point,
with a whole pie.
Dude, listen, it was a delicious pie, and it was almost worth it. But I was sitting there and I was eating a slice, and there was a car at a stoplight in front of me, and I swear to God, the ladies.
Why are you crying, young man?
They were laughing at me.
Were they?
I saw them. Yes.
Do
you?
Yes.
All right.
They kept turning around and looking and laughing at me.
Have you seen other? I've seen it. I've seen it. Sure as hell when I go along and I see someone creating Instagram content, and you're like, oh my God.
So they were laughing at you. Were you sitting there filming yourself, or what were you doing?
No, I just took a couple of pictures, and then I just sat there, just stuffing my fat face with some pizza. Yeah.
And they were laughing.
They were laughing at me.
Look at him. Pizza boy. How popular are you? How many followers you got?
First, I saw the lady in the passenger seat look over, and I was like, oh, and then it was the lady in the driver's seat who was glancing over because her friend, listen, I projected said conversation, and her
this
friend.
This guy's pathetic.
Yes. And then they laughed at me.
Eating his pizza. Is that good, pizza boy? You like your pizza? He's pathetic.
I don't often.
He's on Instagram. Are you one of those fluencers?
Influences. I don't often take selfies, but if I do, I hide it. Like, I don't let anybody know I'm taking a selfie. And if someone walks by, I'm like, just pretend like I'm texting or I'm on my phone. Like, I won't let anybody see me take.
I
unless it's a
break
group.
out my key light.
If it's a group and there's other people to be stupid with, then fine. But Not if it's just me.
So everything in moderation, right? And for me, the moderation comes by literally taking the apps off of my phone for stretches because I find that it's too easy to just get addicted to it, and it is fun. I mean, everybody that you get the endorphin rush from seeing the likes, from having a popular post, even if it means sitting in a parking lot eating an entire pizza by yourself. You got nearly 2,000 likes on that, and I'm sure, Casey, on some levels, the likes were worth it.
I only ate 7 of the slices. I could have eaten all 8.
I think everything.
Way to go.
I think,
but I had to.
Nailed it.
I had to.
I think everything is cyclical. Do you remember the absolute, do you remember the selfie stick and the reaction to people with selfie sticks and the blowback? So that you can take a picture of yourself? And I think, we start to go in and out of that. So everything sort of progresses. And I think, some people may tap the brakes on just living their lives this way.
Exhausting.
I'm going to go to Steve here. Hi, Steve. Good morning.
Hey, guys.
Hey, what's up, bud?
Hey, Casey, when you were eating the pizza, did you put ranch on it?
Not necessary.
Sorry. So I went to a wedding, and I was in the wedding party, and one of the bridesmaids is a big influencer. So and the bride and groom were completely okay with this, knew it, told the guests, oh, yeah, she's basically going to, get us famous, I guess. During the entire wedding, she was their shadow, basically, filming them. She was the first person to see the cake. She walked back into the little area to take a picture of the cake. And about half of the guests thought this was completely normal, and it completely blew my mind.
Yeah, there are some. Listen, the Insta famous. These are all the these are all the phrases now. And to what level of fame? How long is that fame going to last? What do you lose in the pursuit of said fame?
Yep,
things to consider.
All right, thanks, Steve. I appreciate it. But yeah, this article with all these people chiming in were pretty telling. Everything they had to say. Most of them had that common thread of. Is never in the moment, is constantly doing this, is now impossible to spend time with just because they're so caught up in getting the perfect picture all the time, posting, and then, like Kathy was saying, her friend, spending all that time doing all the follow-ups and responses and likes and just, paying attention to the metrics and all that stuff.
It's too much. But if it's any consolation, the 2 girls and 2 girls in a cup, they're still friends.
They're still buddies?
Yeah.
How could you not after that?
All right, anyhow, I want to take a break. We're going to come back in a second. Connor Barwin is going to be auctioning off some items of his, some personal items of him. So we'll find out about those, and we'll just check him and see how he's doing in a couple of minutes. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Preston and Steve on 93.3
We're good, man. How you been?
I've been good.
Excellent. So, you know what? Let's get right to this. The yard sale. Is this all your personal stuff, or is it bigger than that?
Right now, it's all my personal stuff, which let me tell you, it's kind of a lot of stuff over my college and professional career that I was thinking about getting rid of or goodwilling or giving to my friends. And I was like, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Maybe we can raise a little bit of money and give let people support MTWB and give people access to some unique items that you normally don't have access to.
And MTWB's Make the World Better Foundation, and that's your group, and you've done for helping kids have a place to get out and be active and be safe and all that stuff, which has always been amazing to watch you work. With this, or have you always been, did you always hang on to stuff throughout your career? Is that just one of the things you do?
I think all athletes do that. And I don't know, I've been retired for 2 years now, and my wife was pretty much like, it's time to move on. She was like, I don't want to keep accumulating more stuff.
Get this crap out of here.
Our son's not going to want any of this. No one wants this other than you. We're eventually get rid of it now, or we're going to get rid of it in 10 years. So I kept a couple things, but the majority of it we're getting rid of.
Okay, so I'm actually interested in finding out what you couldn't part with.
Well, there's a couple helmets I kept, and really the only thing I didn't part with, honestly, is just jerseys of peers that I played with. So game-worn jerseys that my friends across the league that have signed. That's really about the only things that I kept. And I even put some of those that I had, like I gave there's a Trent Cole signed jersey, there's an Eagles signed jersey, just because I had two of those. There's a Chris Myers jersey that I played with in Houston. I had two of those. So there's a couple of those that are even in this auction.
Yeah, so we're seeing a list of some things here: a Texans helmet and jersey, Eagles cleats, a Rams game ball and Giants hoodie, and other stuff. So there's a wide smattering of stuff to select. And are you also opening up other people who may want to donate their own sports memorabilia or whatever to participate as well?
Yeah. So that's the cool part. And if anybody has stuff that they've accumulated and want to throw it in here and let people buy and raise money for MTWB, they can do that. I've already got hit up by a couple last night. I had Darren Sproles hit me up. I'll probably talk to Selleck and Trent Cole, see if they want to donate anything. So hopefully we get this going over the next few weeks. So I would urge people to kind of pay attention to the website if they're interested, BucksCountyBaseballCompany.com, because we'll keep loading new stuff on there every week.
Hey, Connor, we were just talking about earlier this morning, a Kobe Bryant rookie card sold for $1.8 million. You got one of those?
No, I don't have any of them.
No?
I think the most expensive thing on here might be like $50 or $80. I don't know, $100.
What about the Connor Barwin rookie card?
Hey, I'll tell you, the guy you guys might find this interesting. So there are some weird things on there, right? So I saved the cast from the ankle injury I had my second year in the NFL. I busted my ankle. My ankle was hanging off my leg. It was very important to me. I took a year long to come back from the injury. The initial cast I had signed from a bunch of my Houston Texans teammates. I saved that cast for 12 years. My wife was like, you need to throw this away. And so I gave it to Bucks County Baseball. So it's a random thing. He might have thrown it away. I don't even know. What am I supposed to do with this? But there's some really random things on there, too, if you dig a little bit.
Yeah, stuff like that's where, getting a jersey or something like that is cool, but getting something that's of a moment that's directly connected, to an injury and to a player and his team, that's worth a lot more.
Yeah,
I
your
think.
stanky ass cast. Yeah, man.
There's at least funny stories in there. I might have some stuff from like trophies I got in high school. Just kind of silly things that are on there that
what's the
might
dumbest?
be funny for people to have.
What's the most bizarre? What's the dumbest thing you have?
There's like, I don't know. You got to look. There's like silly like hustle awards that I got in high school that I put on there. These are like little plaques that like eighth graders got. Their coach gave them at the banquet. I saved all of those and finally got rid of them. So those are on there. I can sign for anyone if they want them. So they're funny.
That's great, Connor. I believe it or not, I broke my leg. Dancing at a wedding one time, and I kept that cast too. But it's got a whole bunch of signatures on there, like Mark Wahlberg and Robert Klein of all people. Did anybody sign your cast that you kept?
Well, I had a bunch of my Houston teammates, and you know what? That cast is probably worth more than mine. So you should donate it to this campaign.
All right.
Yes.
Let's raise a few bucks,
dude. I will. It's in my class. You'll have to help me identify some of the autographs because I don't know who's on there. But I'd be happy to if you really want it.
Hey guys, is there a way to de-stink a cast?
Oh, I don't know, man. It's been sitting in a plastic bag in a closet for 10 years. So
it's gonna smell real good.
It's ripe.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I can tell you mine smelled fine. After 12 years, there was no scent to it whatsoever. So I don't know what you did to your cat, but mine was fine.
All right.
Nice. So what have you been doing with your spare time these days, Connor, other than setting up stuff like this?
Well, I'm renovating a house in Fishtown, which is good. I'm working for the Eagles, which takes up the majority of my time. I made another baby, so we have a baby on the way in a couple of months.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the most fun thing I've done last year.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Making babies is so much fun.
Yeah, exactly. And then just the foundation. So we've got a bunch going on with the foundations. We broke ground on another project up in West Kensington and continuing. We've talked about this before, but continuing to work on the Vera Rec Center in Grace Ferry, which is a huge deal. We've been working on for a couple of years.
That's awesome.
Flyers welcome back some fans to the game yesterday. We took some calls from people who were there and said it was just great to be, in that atmosphere again. And obviously they're keeping it really safe with the numbers and all. How do you think you would have managed being a player with empty stands, or would that have even really registered in your mind as far as getting the job done goes?
Well, I think like most players, I was around this year during the season, and I think it would have been hard at the beginning. It would have been hard in warm-ups, but once the ball snapped and the game starts, you just kind of flip a switch and go into a competitive mode. So I think that's really what you saw was once the game started, it was the same. But I'm so excited for us to have fans next year. I saw what the Flyers did, and honestly, just kind of being a normal person, I was talking to my son this morning about going to a game. And he's never, he's 3 years old. He's never gone to a game. So I'm just really happy we're going to have fans moving forward now.
Nice, man. Well, excellent. So we're gonna point people in the direction of the yard sale that's going on. This will continue. It's going on for a while. It's going on until April 10th.
Yeah, it's going to go on for about 4 weeks. So we'll keep adding stuff to it. So pay attention. And again, anything people buy, it's going to go a long way. And every dollar will go to MTWB, and that goes to public playgrounds here in Philadelphia.
And by the way, Connor, did you set up a flat rate for each item, or are people bidding on these things?
There's a flat rate.
Okay.
So, and I think, some of these prices might drop later. I shouldn't be saying this, but they could drop later.
Yeah. Wait till the last second. Yeah.
Yeah. But there is a few items, like some of the higher stuff that's interesting, like game-worn signed jerseys. I think those are going to be bid, but that's just a few items. Most of it is all just flat rate.
Okay. Excellent, man. Well, listen, like I said, we have the links up on our website. It's Bucks County Baseball Company, just a short, co.com. /MTWB, which is Make the World Better Foundation. If you want to check out what Make the World Better does, you can go to mtwb.org as well. You're always doing good stuff, Connor, man. We appreciate it.
Hey, I really appreciate you all. Thank you.
No problem, man. Connor Barwin. Yeah! And I'm sure you can find some great stuff on there you like, and some jokey things.
Yeah. Sure.
His Hustle Award from 8th grade.
Participation awards, stuff like that. But that, in a way, I find that kitschier. I find that more fun than the standard stuff.
We have those links posted on PrestonandSteve.com. Marissa came in and handed a note a second ago. It says Tim Matheson is available for an interview in a few minutes.
I know he's got a new Netflix series.
Yeah. Let's talk to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Otter. Yeah. Absolutely. And Johnny Quest, the voice of Johnny Quest.
That's right.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that'll be in about 10 or 12 minutes.
Didn't you bring him up to me off air a week or two ago? We were talking about something Animal
Why
House
can't
related.
you be more like Tim Matheson?
You were lambasting me for my inability to be like Tim Matheson.
You are just not even in his class.
No, it was because Nick and Casey, a lot of us, we do these kind of movie line things where we just, share movie lines like you do with your friends. Everybody does anyway. So there are a couple that we gravitate towards individually, and one of the ones that Nick and I gravitate towards is Animal House a lot. And I had randomly thought of, and I was going to send him a picture of Tim Matheson as Otter, and I was just going to put type in the text of, well, you can say what you want to about me. And I was going to leave it at that and see if he followed up with but I'm not going to stand around here and listen to you badmouth the United States of America. Gentlemen. So anyway, so we'll talk to Tim Matheson.
I'm looking up the special because I saw it. Is it Netflix movies? That's it. Netflix, is that it? Yeah, Netflix movies starring Tim Matheson.
So he's himself hosting it?
Yes, and I believe he talks about, I believe that's it, or I'm completely wrong.
I don't know. Marissa will get us the information because we're not going to.
We just found out.
We're not going to have a commercial break to stop and absorb this. Should we just keep going, or should we break and come back with him, Case?
We have time.
I'm asking
we have time
you,
if you want to
Case.
just keep going.
Well, okay.
Let's just keep going, man. Let's just keep going. Just get to the point where we're all of a sudden talking to Tim Matheson.
All right, you know what? I did see this thing that I think might be worth bringing up, and it'll bring Kathy into the discussion. Maybe,
nice.
Maybe or maybe not, because she might not have this issue.
Oh.
And I wasn't expecting to do this right now.
Stank ass?
I think it would be good. Well, we all know.
That's
no,
not
that's
true.
not true. She's a blossom. She's a flower.
No, it was an article about, and I want to find it first. Well, no, I'll tell you essentially what it is, and then I'll see if I can find the article. But in so many words, it explains that all of us in our homes have what's known as a cleaning black hole.
Ah, yes.
Meaning
the room where everything goes to die.
Well, yeah, one part for one reason or another that can never be cleaned in your house. That is just always, you can straighten it up, you can get it fixed up, but it goes right back to the same crap that it always went to forever.
Like my garage.
Like your garage. Okay, here we go. 80% of Americans say they have at least one cleaning black hole in their home. It was a new survey that says we have at least one of these. It is an area that seems to be impossible to consistently keep clean or organized. Common cleaning black holes named include closets, garages, and basements.
Mine's my basement.
Okay.
My garage is okay, and I did that not that long ago, but the basement is the hole.
When asked why the cleaning black holes exist, 34% said that they feel too overwhelmed or distracted to tackle them. 32% said their space is too small, and 19% blame someone in the household causing too many messes. So there's a couple of spots like this in my house.
Are there?
Yeah. So one of them is the office. We have a designated office. It used to be my office, and then we found out I don't really do anything
in the office.
And so so Rochelle has taken it over because she handles all of the business that is our family, all appointments, all payments,
the things that allow you to live,
all these things, the things that are required,
that adults do
for you to live. But that place is a pit of just stuff that ends up there all the time. Paperwork, things. It's
there's actually beef on hooks.
It's crazy. It's nuts, and we will every other year or something get in there and really clean it out, and then it just goes right back to it.
I have to say, now that would have been true of the old house in Manayunk, but the house that we've been in for the past couple of years, we've managed to minimize the disaster room situation.
Good.
And now, mind you, we don't have kids. The cats, there's so on and so forth. So the level of organization is actually pretty good, and we've minimized a few things. So, I now, I'm a lunatic on freaking out with clutter and stuff like that. So, I do the spring cleaning. I do all that crap. I'm planning to do it because it just drives me crazy. And having open floor space and not stuff stacked all over the place. I call it the Stockholm syndrome. Over in Manayunk, it was like there'd be piles of stuff, but they'd be stacked properly. So you really, we were just on the precipice of an episode of Hoarders. And and that's when you really have to reel it back in.
Like you, Nick. So we have the finished portion of the basement and the unfinished portion. The unfinished portion is where things go to die.
Yeah,
that's it. It's just it's a mob scene, and every once in a while, just like the office, like every other year or so, I'll get it there and do a deep purge and clean. It doesn't last hardly at all. It just starts to add back up more stuff.
Like the second you're done? The second you're done, right?
It seems like it.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of work. It's like a week worth of work to get it done.
And we, I do the laundry in the house, and I'm happy to do that. I don't mind that being my chore, but the laundry facilities are in the basement. So every time I go down there, I take a look around the basement. And I'm like, I can get to the basement eventually. And I let it go. And then it bothers me that when I walk back upstairs. But then I walk back upstairs and it's behind me.
Yeah,
it's underneath me. Yeah, I don't have to deal with it anymore. We don't spend any time in the basement, so why bother cleaning it?
Yeah.
Kathy,
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, what's
Is your entire house antiseptically perfect? Every room?
Your basement's a little cluttered, right?
What about your chamber? What about your dungeon?
So, like the office, there's more things in there that I would like to be in there, but I don't have anywhere else to put them. Like Jace's musical instruments, he's got a keyboard in there, he's got 2 guitars, so things like that. But it's not a mess. You know what I mean? I wish I had another room that could be the music room. I just don't. Closets, no. My closets are organized, and that is, I think, when it gets to the point where it's almost not, is when I start freak out cleaning. Which is like about once a month. I'll organize something once a month. You can imagine what that time period is once a month. But whatever it is, I'll just get so angry that I start organizing something. As far as like where stuff goes to die, that would probably be my basement because my basement isn't finished. However, like after Christmas, I organized everything. So everything went back down and is now like in bins and organized. I threw out the whole half of my basement probably about a year ago. I cleaned out and just got rid of stuff.
So you threw out Dennis's stuff.
I threw Dennis out.
I got rid of so much crap that was not mine.
But even stuff that I didn't use, like I had a lot of like if I entertain at my house, but things that I wasn't using it. I don't use a cupcake display tray or
Why
a
not?
cake. I just don't.
I don't.
See, we have. I think I have 2 of those. You know, maybe 3.
Preston, I had 3 cake displays. Like, when will I ever
do you
serve
ever use
3
that?
cakes?
You're not even a good cook.
Let alone 1.
We've got the ones that to go to take them over to somebody's house so they can see how great they are. Those containers too.
You need those.
I kept my cupcake to go in case we get back to having parties at school and Jace needs to take cupcakes to school or whatever it is. But anyway, I got rid of so much stuff. So I do. You said once a year. No way. I do it more often than once a year.
We've got like 4 inflatable mattresses, 3 tents, coffee makers that we haven't used in 20 years. Well, there's a bread maker down there. There's a rotisserie oven. There's, it's just stuff.
What about a yard sale? Well, so Connor Barwin, he's talking about his yard sale. Do you guys do yard sales at the estate?
I'd rather eat broken glass.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Yes.
It's the worst.
No.
Remember when I recently
throw it away?
Organized? I didn't. It was stuff that was perfectly fine. I just didn't use it, and I left it. Remember on my neighbor's doorsteps.
Yeah.
Like
some bizarre Johnny Appleseed.
I didn't want to throw it out. Didn't want to do the yard sale. Didn't feel like driving.
Do you do the same with your garbage?
No.
It's garbage to me, but I don't know. Maybe you enjoy this.
Hey, listen, everyone got something, right?
Yeah. And listen, I'm a collector too. I hang on to stuff. I mean, I definitely save sentimental things. Kathy's not into that at all.
I take a picture of it.
But that's a good thing. That's what you can do. If there are some things that you've held on to forever for sentimental reasons and it's taking up space and you're not going to actually use it for anything or display it, you can take a picture of it and hang on to it that way and reminisce in that regard. And then you make a little gallery of all those things.
You know what I found?
Like ashes of loved ones. Take a picture of the ashes, then throw it out.
Throw them out.
Stop. No, you know what I did find, though, in my clearing out is, and it's a small bin of
human teeth.
No, baby girl clothes. And I opened it up. I'm like, why are there baby girl clothes in my basement? I'm looking through it. They were mine. My mom gave me a bin when she moved out of our house that we grew up in, and it had.
Did you try anything on?
No, but it had a little clown costume that my grandmother, who died when I was a baby, that she had made for me. She sewed it for me. It was like my first costume
it's my
ever.
greatest desire that you become a clown.
It was my Italian grandmother. Yes. So that was pretty cool, and I was a little sentimental. I wasn't going to throw that out.
No,
at all.
What do you mean?
You didn't throw it out yet? You have held on to it.
I kept it. Yeah.
Okay.
No, like honestly,
use it as a rag to clean up. clean up around the house.
No, it really is the only thing that, because my grandmother died when I was very
outfit
young.
really picks up dirt.
No, so it's the only thing that I have from her. So
okay, all right.
I can understand. So yeah, it's so stupid to talk about. That you. I get psychotic at a certain point about the clutter drives me crazy. But my wife and I have paired it up pretty nicely. Yeah. She has her strike force capabilities, and I have mine, and we work together. And our thing is, the edict is if we haven't used it in 6 months, throw it out.
By the way, a high number, 88%, said that they'll have at least one junk drawer, and 35% actually find a specific drawer that they name the junk drawer when they move someplace new. So, yeah, definitely. Do you have a junk? You probably don't, do you?
No, remember I posted a picture.
Yeah.
This was a
It's
couple of years ago.
organized.
I organize my junk drawer every couple of months for sure.
Okay.
When it starts to get messy, I need to organize it.
Additionally, 49% say they have a laundry chair.
A laundry chair?
Yes, where the dirty clothes seem to land.
I can't do that. Like, that's where my OCD kicks in. Like, it has to be put away. It can't, dirty clothes get in the laundry basket and clean clothes get put away.
Do you guys have a well in your basement where you lower lotion down into?
Yeah. I mean,
38% say they have a paper pile that needs to be sorted.
Yeah, we have that.
And 24% say they have a junk bowl or junk dish for extra sets of keys or other items. I definitely have that.
I have a
too.
basket.
You have a basket?
Yeah,
Kind of
we're
a junk basket? You just toss stuff in there?
No, not just any stuff, Preston. It's
wallet, keys,
and
things like that.
chargers. So the chargers aren't because our outlets are underneath the cabinet. So if it's left plugged in, then the wire hangs down. So that has to get unplugged to be put in the basket. And then if you need a charger, you can plug
Put
it
it
in.
in the basket.
Put it in the basket. Don't let the wire hang. That's my house.
that must be fun.
The other black hole, the other cleaning black hole in my house is the kitchen sink. I mean, we have 5 people, and it's constantly, and I've lately been militant about the dishes and getting them done, and I want this to be empty all the time. Doesn't freaking matter. We are doing dishes constantly, all the time, all day long, every day. It drives me crazy.
How often do you run the dishwasher?
I hate it. At least once a day, at least.
All right. So
sometimes twice.
My wife keeps the kitchen. It's wonderful. A great job. The one thing is, stuff will sit next to the sink. So she likes to prep it. I'm like, just put it in the sink and then take it out when you're ready because I can't stand. It's like
Is it dirty or clean next to the sink?
Well, it's dirty and it's waiting to be cleaned, and I'm like,
so it doesn't go in
until you're gonna clean it, just put it in the sink so it's below eyesight level. And look at what's become of my life that I worry about this. But it looks like the saddest line in the world of dirty cups waiting to go into the sink.
But is she hand washing them or putting them in a dishwasher?
And the dishwasher. She has some things that she specifically likes to hand wash, and and then I realize, what has my life become?
Exactly.
Rock and roll.
Well, listen, you're not alone. According to the survey, 80% of Americans say they have at least one cleaning black hole in their home, one spot for whatever reason. Everything ends up there. It's either clutter or it's messy, and you just can't get it straightened out all the time. So you're not alone, my friend. Not at all.
Take comfort.
We have a guest who is on the line. There's a last-minute addition to our interviews, and we'd talk to this guy anytime.
Yes,
One of our face. Been in so many great movies and TV shows. Yeah, throughout the years, obviously. But he's on to talk about season 2 of Virgin River, which is on Netflix. Please welcome Mr. Tim Matheson.
Yeah.
To the show this morning.
Good
Tim.
morning, Preston and Steve. How are you?
Wonderful. How are you, sir?
Doing very well, thank you.
Excellent. Listen, it's great to have something on Netflix these days. I was just reading some stats about streaming and Netflix in particular just being through the roof. So that's a good spot to land, sir.
You know, it's the first streaming show I'd ever done, and it's amazing because it premieres all over the world on the same day.
Right.
And all of a sudden, I'm getting calls and emails and texts from Italy and Brazil and France and all over, Canada and America. And it's especially my wife is Italian Canadian, so we have a lot of relatives in Italy, and some, they'll send us clips of me in Italian. Somebody dubbed me out.
That's cool.
But it's remarkable.
I have to profess, so I'd seen the listing for it, and I'm not familiar. I will get familiar with it. So explain to us what Virgin River is about.
Virgin River is the story of a young nurse practitioner from Los Angeles who suffered a tragedy in her life, and so she moves from Los Angeles to Northern California, a small town, and thinking it'll be calmer and more peaceful, and she can pull her life back together, and it'll be a simpler life. And life in a small town usually isn't quite that simple for Melinda Monroe, who's that character,
And you're a doctor as well on the show.
Yeah,
right?
I'm Doc Mullins, this grumpy old doc who's been here for 30 years, and all of a sudden in comes this woman who'd been hired unbeknownst to me, to be, like a coworker in my clinic, and we at first we don't really get along very well.
So you're a doctor. I thought you were pre-law.
Pre-med, what's the difference?
Well, I have watched the show. I'm already finished season 2, but what I found very interesting and kind of had to wait a little bit through season 1 was to understand your relationship with the woman that plays your wife on the show.
Oh, yes. Annette O'Toole plays Hope McRae, yes. Who is the mayor? She's the mayor of this little town, yeah.
But, like, at first, you don't even realize you guys are married.
I know. They wanted to let it be a slow reveal, and it's a complex, long-term relationship, and there were some broken promises and bridges in our past that he's still trying to repair,
Well, there's an interesting dynamic to small town stuff, and people a lot of times you'll hear people say, "I want to get away from the complexities of a city," and there's the macro versus the micro, and a lot of times it's just there are a whole host of other issues that occur when a smaller group of people knows exactly what's going on with your life, and you have to deal with those nuances. What drew you to the part and the whole concept?
Well, I just love the idea of it being a small town, because it's kind of old-fashioned in that way. It's like Mayberry, from Andy Griffith's show. It is that, but in a small town, no one's invisible. You can be invisible in Philly, in Philadelphia, New York, or Boston. You can walk down the street, you don't know anybody, you don't run anybody you know, and you can pretty much get away with doing anything you want to do. But in a small town, everybody knows what you're doing, and I like the aspect of being a doctor is you're treating people that you know well, and care about, and so it's more intense,
Yeah, there's there's a heightened level of intensity when you're going to kill quite possibly your neighbor if you don't call it right.
Yes, exactly right. And the responsibility is increased.
Yes, the onus is on you to get it right. But I just have to say, and just by happenstance, we did not know we were having you on, but last night I watched a very Brady sequel, which you're in.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and you're great in that. It's such a fun movie. Did you any memories from that movie in particular? Because those two movies were such a tonally correct porting of this TV series to the big screen. Anything you remember from working on that film?
Well, yeah, because at the time, one of the weirdest things was at the time they were still showing the Brady Bunch on TV, and I could be sitting out in my trailer watching on the television there, watching the Brady Bunch, the original one, and then walk on the set that we were shooting on, and there's the house. It's exactly the same as it was 25 years before, when and it was like, oh my God, it was really an out-of-body experience. But plus Gary Cole, and was and it was wonderful, and the cast was incredible, and it had just the perfect tone, making fun and mocking how corny they were, and yet how dear they were,
Absolutely. I also have to ask you, I know we have just a bit of time with you, because you did extensive work with National Lampoon, and obviously the magazine, and then the company, and Animal House. Tony Hedra just passed. Did you work closely with him? Did you know him?
No, I'd met him, and I talked to him because there was a point when we were, me and a group had approached me to take over the National Lampoon to try and revitalize the magazine, and the first person we went to was Tony, to try and, but he was then working with Spy magazine, so he was sort of out of our reach.
Right.
But he was one of the original great voices of the Lampoon, and spent, during their, I guess, the best years of the early Lampoon, and he was very talented and very funny.
Yeah, it was a sad loss.
Those guys were amazing.
Yeah, groundbreaking.
Yeah.
Tim, if you don't mind, I'd like to go even way back in your career. I'm such a fan of Johnny Quest, and I own I have all the DVDs, and I did not know until years and years later, after being a fan, that you were the voice of Johnny Quest. And how old were you when you got that gig?
I was 15 15, and because I remember it was like the real big deal for me was I turned 16 while we were recording it, and I got to drive to work myself. You know?
Wow.
Wow. I'm an adult. Really. But, it was great because I was just getting little day jobs here and day jobs there. I went in and I auditioned for this voice thing. I recorded something in a studio. I didn't know what it was. I didn't hear anything for months and months, and then all of a sudden we had heard that it sold, and then I started going into these recording sessions with these incredible, wonderful voice actors, Dawes Butler and Don Messick and Alan, Reed and June Foray, and the most incredible one was Mel Blanc, who did all of the Warner Brothers, Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck and Wile E. Coyote, and so I got to work with those guys and gals, and it was an amazing education.
That's pretty amazing. June Foray would be, I think, if you're going to, put up in the on the female side a voiceover artist. She was involved with so much stuff. She'd be close. She'd be in the Mel Blanc territory.
Sure. And these people could create a character without any physicality. I mean, that all of a sudden, just through their voice, you could see the image of the character. And oftentimes what they do is they'd show them a picture, a drawing of what the character was going to look like, and then they'd create a voice that just fit that drawing. And it was like watching a magic act. They were just awesome.
It's very cool. Well, we've read that the third season of Virgin River has been okayed by Netflix, so if people are interested in jumping in and getting involved with the series, the story's continuing. And so, have you started work on that third season?
We're going to begin shooting soon, and we're looking forward to that. And we have a wonderful cast, and we all love each other, and it's one of those rare things where you just have people that you can just spend all day with and all month after month with, and really dig it.
That's awesome.
Excellent. Well, listen, congratulations on the success, Tim. We're huge fans, and keep rocking. We'll catch you sometime soon. Okay.
Preston, Steve, thank you very much.
Anytime. Tim Matheson, guys. I love him. I love the sound of his voice.
It's Tim Matheson. It's Otter.
It's his Otter.
Yeah.
And then looking at all the other things that I'd forgotten about, that he's in Fletch.
Yeah.
He's in like you said, a very Brady sequel. He was in tons of shows throughout the years. He was on things like Leave It to Beaver and My Three Sons and Night Gallery and all those 70s shows.
Which is great. Yeah, there's Casey, we want a collection of names when people call in.
Yeah.
There is, and I was watching the movie, and I forgot this scene. It's hilarious when Marcia and Greg are realizing that they're sexually attracted to each other.
Yeah.
And, yes, Greg.
That's a good one. I like that one.
He's got like 50 credits before Animal House, you know? And it's really remarkable.
Well,
and
when
he
you
was
start working when you're 15, right?
Yeah. Well, he did work before that. I mean, like Preston mentioned, Leave It to Beaver and My Three Sons and things like that. But, I mean, he was on the West Wing for, 7 or 8 years. It's just he never stops working. It's really, his whole life has been dedicated to acting.
He played Aunt B on
Andy Mayberry. Wow.
Good.
I had no idea. That guy can pull that off.
Like an 18-year-old man.
He was in the Goldbergs.
Was he?
Yeah, he did an episode where they did a tribute to Animal House.
Okay.
That's right.
That's cool. All right, well, listen, folks, we need to take a break. But not before we reward you. I have a $50 Acme gift card. Have you heard that our lounge right outside of our studio here is now sponsored by Acme? It is now known as the Acme Lounge.
Yay!
We're pretty excited about that. They brought by some goodies for us to eat and some goodies for you to win. A $50 Acme gift card. Caller number 10. It's yours, 215-263-WMMR. And don't forget, when you play Monopoly at Acme, every ticket wins an offer, a prize, or tokens for sweepstakes. Download the app to play. No purchase necessary. See the rules at shopplaywin.com. Hasbro is not a sponsor of the promotion. And Acme, of course, the official supermarket of the Preston and Steve Show. Coming back in a moment with the B-File. Stay there.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
WMMR.com. See Metallica perform live for the 35th anniversary of Master